Sitting here with Mike Brooks in the back of a booth, and we're going to do an interview. Mike, tell me a little bit about how you got started building guns.
I got started in 1980. Went to a local shoot with my Thompson Center and got there, and everyone had really nice looking flintlock rifles besides me, and I was immediately hooked on the flintlock guns, and I asked them how you get one of those, and they said, well, you come up with $1,000 and you pay a guy to build you one. And at that time I made next to nothing, and said, well, how else do you get one? And they laughed at me and said, well, you buy a bunch of parts and you build your own. And I said, oh, okay. So I pursued finding enough parts to build a gun, and built a full stock Flint Hawken for my first rifle. It was not exactly real Hawken looking, but it functioned real well. And all the guys that laughed at me when I told them I was going to build a gun, eventually I have built all those men rifles, and
poetic justice.
Yeah, the laugh was on them and not on me.
Cool. Since then, you've built many guns.
I've built over 250 guns at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is a career of...
Full-time occupation since 1996.
Okay. Wow. Favorite school to build?
Right now I like fowling pieces the best. I build rifles and fowling pieces, but I like building English fowling pieces the best. Around 1760 time period. I also like Hudson Valley fowlers real well. And for rifles, I build quite a few Virginia rifles.
Okay. Do you find your interests change over the years, or evolve into what you like to build? Or
slightly. I've always been in love with English fowling pieces, but my tastes do change somewhat as far as little quirks about different things.
Sure.
But, generally, it's been English fowling pieces and Virginia rifles for quite a few years now.
Do customers' interests drive what you make, or you pretty much make what you want? And
I try to drive my customers' interest to things I want to make. That's usually they get the best gun that way.
Okay, that's cool. If a guy comes and says that he wants a certain school of rifle making, let me change the way I ask that. If somebody comes to you and says, I want you to copy such and such a gun out of Shumway for me, does that turn your crank any?
It can, if it's a gun I like and a style I feel that I'm good at. For instance, if someone wanted to come to me and said, I want you to build me a Lehigh rifle, I would say, well, that's really nice, and I've always wanted to build one of those, but if you want a good Lehigh rifle, I'd have, I can't think of his name, what a mental block, let's see. Martin, Alan Martin. I would have Alan Martin. I just refer him right to Alan Martin. Say, Alan Martin builds you the best. But if it's something I build, I would say, yeah, let's get together on it and do it. I'm not. I don't hesitate to refer people to other people that would do a better job than what I do. So I've always believed that you should find the guy that builds the style of rifle you want, and then go to them.
Okay.
Why not go to the best guy instead of the guy that's unfamiliar with the work? So. That's not always conductive to a lot of good. I've always had enough business where I could always refer customers to other people.
If you're busy enough, then you can continue to build what you like.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And what I enjoy that way.
Okay. Yeah. Are there certain carving techniques or engraving techniques that you like better than others, or oh, good, I get to do this on a gun?
I'm fairly well self-taught on a lot of stuff. I went to the University of Western Kentucky a couple times. I took an engraving course from Linton McKenzie and learned the basics of engraving there. But my carving techniques I've pretty much developed on my own, and really engraving too. Other than the basics, it's been nothing but practice, and you tend to, when you're isolated, you tend to develop a lot of your own techniques and things, I think. But I feel that my work looks a lot like the original 18th century work, so I got to be doing something right there.
Absolutely. Do you still have time to shoot on your own? What are your shooting hobbies like?
I haven't owned a rifle since 1996 when I went full time. They always seem. I've built several, but they always seem to disappear quickly.
You're in demand.
Yes, generally to pay the bills, they head right out, and that's that. So.
Now I don't see any percussion guns in the place.
I've built probably 2.
Is that right?
In 25 years, yeah.
Okay, that's an indication right there.
Yeah, generally it's all flintlock stuff that I build.
Okay. How about do you have any desire to make your own lock?
No.
That was a quick answer.
I would refer to myself as a gun stalker.
Okay.
I will take an assemblage of parts and stock a gun up. That's where my interest lies, and I would hesitate to build a lock. There are people that are really good at that, and I've put handmade locks on my guns, but they've always been built by somebody else. So that's just an area I don't have a lot of interest in, is building locks or building an all handmade gun. My interest goes basically in the gun stocking and the decoration of the gun. That's what I enjoy doing.
Do you have interest in building something with the same tool sets that some original maker made, or are you use whatever modern tool fits your fancy?
I use real traditional tools in my work, just wood chisels, rasp. I don't have a lot of power machinery. I have a drill press I use to drill my screw holes and pin holes through with. And I have a bandsaw I cut out my stock profile with, but from there on out it's planes, rasps, and chisels.
Okay.
I don't use a lot of modern techniques to build guns. Pretty traditional.
Where does your wood come from? You mentioned a supplier, or?
Yeah, I get a lot of my wood from Wayne Dunlap, the biggest portion. I get some from Dick Miller up in Michigan. And that's about it.
Okay.
Just those 2 men, really.
A lot of your parts then come from people that you probably dealt with for years for barrels and wood and locks.
I've become good friends with all of them. I get a huge percentage of my locks. 90% of all the locks I use come from Jim Chambers, and 95% of the barrels I use are all Getz barrels too.
Okay.
I believe in good, high-quality parts to make a gun. If you're going to make an investment, of that dollar value in a gun, you might as well have good parts.
Absolutely. Where's home? I don't know where you live.
I live in Davenport, Iowa. I lived there for 10 years, and before then I lived in northwestern Illinois my entire life.
Okay.
But 10 years ago I moved just across the river into Davenport, and there I'll be for the foreseeable future.
Okay. I just talked to Chambers, and there seems to be a little nest of makers and vendors down around him, and I thought maybe you're in one of those little communities.
No, I'm lost in a void out in Iowa. Just west of where I live, the world ends.
Oh, I see. Okay, you fall off the edge, huh?
That's right.
Well, that's cool. Is there anything that I have neglected to ask you that you'd like to talk about? Any passion you have with muzzleloading?
You made me yearn to start shooting again. I've been an avid flintlock skeet shooter for quite a few years. That's where my real interest lays. I can't see rear sights on a rifle to shoot competitively anymore, but I really enjoy skeet and sporting clay shooting with double barrel flint guns and single barrels too.
Yeah.
I wish I had more time to do that, especially while I'm down here at the Nationals. It would be nice. And future shoots, I plan on being down here during the week longer. I'm developing a new line of kits. At the moment, I'll have 6 or 8 kits to be selling, so I'll be staying down here a little longer in the future, and that'll get me out maybe to do some shooting in the morning. So
that'd be cool. I don't know how many times I walk past these booths, and I mean, there's always something new in them. Maker coming up with some other twist. I'll look forward to seeing what your kits look like. I imagine they're Fowlers.
A Type G trade gun, a Carolina trade gun. Those are both early British pieces from the 1740s or 50s, made for the Indian trade.
Okay.
I'll also be making a British Alliance rifle. The British were making Pennsylvania-styled rifles towards the end of the Revolutionary War for trade with the Indians.
Smooth.
No, this one will be rifle.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be anxious to get that going, and I've got a couple other ideas too. A regular English Fowler.
Cool.
So yeah, you're right. Mostly Fowlers and a rifle or two thrown in for good measure. So yeah.
Okay.